Hello, everyone. Welcome back to LPY The Inside. So this is episode 21. I always forget whenever we start. So this is episode 21 of The Inside. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Ragsdale.
Snapping?
Yes, we snap. If you would like to introduce yourself, say what you do at the church, who you are, and
all that good stuff.
Yes.
I'm Adam Ragsdale. Everybody just calls me Rags or Ragsdale. Do I look at you guys? Is that how that works?
Or you can just look at the camera.
Is that the camera?
Yeah,
I'm going to look at you guys.
Yeah.
That is super uncomfortable
So I am.
It's not just an inanimate object up there. I'm the pastor of leadership development, overseeing life groups at the time, specializing in that kind of. Also have a nonprofit for combat veterans that I work with. So that's what I do.
Yay.
Yay.
What was your question?
Oh, yeah. V, you can ask the question.
Would you consider yourself to be rich or poor?
Rich.
Rich. And why is that?
So I have no debt for number one, so I don't owe anybody anything in the world. That helps a lot. And I've also done a lot of traveling, a lot of mission work in third world countries, particularly Haiti, Belize, the Philippines, places like that. And so when you go to those places, you realize that the American definition of poverty and the actual definition of poverty, there's a Grand Canyon of difference between those two things. And so that's not to negate the people that struggle in this country, particular in the inner cities and the very rural places like Appalachia, even within our area. Man, if you got in the church van right now and drove to the mountains in western Kentucky or West Virginia, man, you would come back here and even see poverty in this area with different views. You'd think, man, I'm a lot better off than what I thought I was before I went there. And so I have no debt, so I don't owe anybody anything. That helps tremendously. And then I've just been exposed to what real poverty is and what it really means to be poor.
Yeah.
And I'm sure did Clay say tonight that if you have like these things, you're like in the top 2% of people.
Yes.
That'll make you feel
So
bad,
you
huh?
just know, yes.
Yeah. So the phones. Look at the phones we have. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nobody in a third world country that's bouncing around with that.
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, because you've done mission work, like, what is one of your most eye-opening stories, like, of something that maybe happened to you or that you saw when you were in another country?
how much time we got? I'll be as quick with this as I can. So, probably the Philippines. I went to my youth guy. So my Clay is a guy named Jess Jennings. He now does Nehemiah teams. Matter of fact, if you are a junior or senior or in college, I would encourage you to go do Nehemiah teams. They send 16, 17, all the way up through mid-20-year-olds all over Southeast Asia and Africa every year. They send them to pockets in this country where immigrants are that need to hear the gospel. Dude's just a rock star, man. He was just an incredible person. My life would have been completely different when you guys are my age, and it's not important how old I am, so don't be asking that. But when you get my age, you're probably going to look back on Clay the way I look back on Jess. I mean, it's one of those dudes that intercepted my life at just the right time. So I was going to see him. It was the spring after 9/11 happened, so everybody was on eggshells. And the Philippines, just in case you don't know, there's always wars going on in the Philippines. There's 3 different sections of sects of terrorists that are there. And at the time that I was there, that there was a group called the Abu Sayyaf, which was a Muslim terrorist group that had kidnapped 2 American missionaries and been holding them for 6 months. They'd been moving all over the jungle with them. Couldn't find them, couldn't get to them. So where I was at was on the other side of that mountain. I was right on the other side of the jungle from where they were trying to track them down. So I'll say all that to say they had one of the guys at the place we were working out in the Mindanao jungle, out in the middle of nowhere, man, had to take a little jeepney, which is a little crappy truck with a little hood on it, right? You sit and it's just horrible, man, going up and through the jungle. One of the guys was named Commander Boutron, and he was a former terror. He was part of they got the MPA. They got all these different armies. They all hate each other. They're all warring against each other. He came to Christ because Jess was riding his motorcycle. It took Jess 2 years to learn the language. He finally learns the language, and they basically go, good luck with that, because no white folks have been in this jungle since World War II. Jess starts riding his little redneck from Fort Payne, man, little skinny white boy, riding his little motorcycle all through the jungles, and he passed through this little village, and the road forked, and he said, Lord, where do I go? Do I go right or left? And the Lord said, you need to go back. You need to go back to the village you just came from. And he went, I'm just going to go right. So he goes right, and he's going, okay, Lord, what I do? And the Lord said again, man, I told you what you need to do. You need to go back to the village you just came through. Yep. Goes down, knocks on the first little hut he comes to, and Pastor Boutron, who had just got saved just because he had read a book a missionary had given him 30 years earlier. I mean, this man was a commander that was killing folks not long before that. Hardcore dude, and got saved, but he didn't know anything beyond that. And so Jess knocks on his door, speaks to him in Cebuano, and Pastor Boutron takes him back, starts taking pile after pile of stuff off of this treasure chest, and takes out a Bible, and he says, I've been praying for 1.5 years for someone to explain what this means to me. I don't understand it. And so that was Jess's first, dude, man.
Yeah.
And so these dudes would come out of the wood, just come out of the jungle at different times while I was there and ask for Pastor Boutron, because they still respected him, and would basically say, we're doing a raid tonight. You need to get the Americans out of the jungle tonight. Don't be here after nightfall. He tells us that on this particular day, and everybody's but the Lord showed it's just incredible gathering that night, man. The Lord just moves, unbelievable. And then in the commotion of that, just in the excitement of it, we realize it's dark now. It's freaking dark. We ain't supposed to be there. It's a big deal, man. And so they huddle together. The leadership huddles together, and they're going, man, do we just hunker down here for the night with nothing? But there's nothing. There's no food. There's no gun. There's nothing. Or do we try to get back? And so they said, you know what? Let's try to get back. And so we're on this little jeepney. There's an old beat-up Toyota truck in front of us that's kind of leading the way. And we come off this mountainside and come back up into the next little village. And it's like a movie. There's just this mob of people that are out in the village, and they're going just ape crap. They've lost their minds over something. And the truck gets through them. The truck manages to get through them, but they physically stop the jeepney that we're in, and they're rocking it back and forth, and they're speaking in Cebuano, and nobody knows what's going on except Jess, because he's the only one that speaks Cebuano. And so this dude he's talking to comes around, and he's trying to open the back of the jeepney. And I said to Jess, do we open it? He goes, yeah, open it. So I open it.
Bro.
This was 80 pounds ago, so I wasn't the big dude I am now, right? It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. And so these dudes jerked me out, man. And they dragged me 15, 20 yards from the jeepney. And they've got these they call them bolo knives. They're like boomerang looking knives. You know what I'm saying? Because they hack.
Oh,
they hack at
I know
stuff,
what
man.
you're talking about.
And so these Filipinos, man, have these bolo knives surrounding me, and they've got under my neck all the way around. And the only thing I'm saying is mayunga bi'i, which means God bless you.
Oh.
Because that's all I know. What do I know about Cebuano, man? I don't know what that means. That's what I was hoping they would hear. I was hoping they would hear that. And so I'm thinking,
God bless, don't kill.
yes. Hoping it's going to be this miraculous thing where they just understand, this, I'm not going to benefit you. I'm not rich. If you're looking to kidnap somebody, you got the wrong dude, man.
Wrong person.
Yeah, my wife ain't sending you jack.
Right, take him.
So I'm thinking, it's okay. I'm not panicking because I see Jess talking to some of the tribal elders. And I'm going to go, it's okay, it's fine. And I can smell the jungle rum on their breath. So they're drunk on top of everything else. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I see the jeepney start moving.
Oh.
And in all the commotion,
They left you.
they forgot I'm outside the jeepney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you
And
say
so-
Mayunga?
So I see all at once these dudes turn and look. And it's weird what you remember. Any of you guys play sports? Anybody play sports?
Yes.
So it's weird what you remember years later. So on defensive football in high school, when you rush the quarterback, I don't know if they teach this or not because that was a long time ago. They did this thing called a swim technique where you hit them and swim over the top of them. And so it's weird, man. I'm in the middle of the jungle. I hadn't done that in 5-6 years at that time. And that's exactly what I do, man. I slap all the bolo knives with my left hand. I swim over them with the right. And my white butt goes as fast as I can. I jump on the back of the jeepney, and off we go, right?
And they're like, oh, we forgot.
Yeah, I'm going.
I feel so bad, bro.
What did they say? What did they say to you?
So all that. The Filipino culture is a lot like y'all. They're very dramatic.
Thank you, Moon.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
They are overly dramatic about everything. And so here's all it was. They wasn't looking to kidnap nobody. They wasn't looking to hurt nobody. They had a tribal meeting that night. An elder got upset. They were all drinking. And another elder took an ice pick to another elder. Do it right like a sewing machine, man. Just da-da-da-da-da-da. All they wanted was for us to take that brother into Butuan City with us, which is where we were going to try to get him some medical help. That's all. Now, why they just couldn't have went, hey guys, this man's hurt. Yeah, would you mind? But they didn't do that. They freaked out. So here's the lesson, though. Here's the lesson I took from it. I went a long way to say this because
learn the language.
You learn the language. Don't go in the jungle.
Don't leave your friends behind.
Don't leave your friends. Yeah, you'd think that would be. Here's what I like. In this country, we are so, gosh, I want to be cautious how I say this. Maybe spoiled. Maybe the church is spoiled. Maybe that's what you say. There's no cost. There's no real cost like here for following Christ. Yeah. In that environment, when you realize at any moment that you're teaching, somebody could come out the jungle and snatch you. Yeah. Either because they want to ransom you or because they hate you. And most of them just hate you because most of them are Muslim and terrorists, and they want to kill everybody that's not that. So, right. So the next morning, we're back in Butuan City. I had gotten up and was eating breakfast. Jess comes in. It's this little horrible restaurant where we're eating breakfast. This whatever horrible breakfast Filipinos feed people. And Jess comes and sits down, and I jokingly say to him, so we just gonna chill out today, like hang around the old hotel, like behind the walls with the dudes with guns protecting, like just gonna chill today. And I'll never forget this. He said, looks without hesitating, he looks at me and says, we have to go out. We don't have to come back. And I went, dang, man. And he said, I adopted that when I came here. That's the Coast Guard creed. When a Coast Guard gets a distress call in the ocean, their creed is, we have to go out. We don't have to come back. Yeah. And Jess said, if that's the Coast Guard creed for the physical, then that much more should be my creed for the spiritual. And if I have to give my life for these people, then I'll give my life for these people. And that's just how it is. And he said, so you got a taste of what I've had for, 15 years now. Yeah. So that was one of the lessons on that particular trip that I just went, man, if we really looked around at the folks around us with the real reckless abandonment, like nothing else matters. I mean, here somebody says something on social media, we freak out. There, if you say something about Jesus, you could die. I mean, it's just a huge difference in what we do. And so that was the level of commitment to reach people with the gospel. Yeah. We have to go out. We don't have to come back.
I think we don't realize how much, because or I went to whenever we had Gather here.
I was out of the country. I wasn't even here.
Right.
Was it awesome?
So yes, it was good. That was the night I also hit Matt's truck, so it was a night for me. Yeah.
After the podcast, I'll listen to that story.
Yeah, that wasn't. It was something. So anyway, moving on. Anyways. I remember, they were talking about how, some people literally get killed for believing in Jesus. And that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And we don't realize how good we have it here. We literally have a whole podcast to talk about the word.
Yeah.
And that is they don't even get to believe in this stuff. And I don't think I honestly don't even think I've grasped onto that until you started talking about that story. I've heard about, people getting killed and having to like sacrifice themselves for what they believe in like 3, 4, 5 times, and it's only ever been brought up to me here. But I've never like really like looked into it. It's just like been in one ear out the other, whatever. But then like whenever you were saying that story, I was just like, it's like genuinely like crazy how people literally just get killed for that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and so the week after, I'll do some promoing. So the week after Easter, we're going to have the Compassion experience here. Did you guys? Were any of you guys around last time the Compassion came? And
Yeah.
so if you've never been to one, it's really eye opening.
Yeah.
But I'll just say this, and I think this is, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that you're more affected by stats or story?
What do you mean? Like,
So I'll give you an example. So Clay talked to you guys tonight about how rich you were. There's a great charity out there called Charity Water. They dig wells in places, particularly in Africa, that don't have any. They were doing this, and the founder of Charity Water also did photography. Had heard a story, and he went to find out if it was true or not, because it was just such a hard story to hear. And here, so I'm going to tell you that story. Let me also tell you this, that about 6 million people die, I think that's the stat. It may be more than that. I'll just say this. Millions of people still either suffer disease or die simply because they don't have fresh water.
yeah.
Just because they don't have fresh water. We've got 3 faucets outside. I've got this ridiculous bottle here that I'm drinking on. We don't think about that here.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. So this particular little girl, little 8-year-old girl, left out before dawn every day, traveling to go. Took a 6.5-hour walk to get to where she was going with her friend with a clay pot to wait in line. They left before dawn every single day, so they didn't have to stand in line all day. This particular day they get there, the line's already long, man. It's already gonna. So they wait for 6 or 7 hours in line for this fresh spring water, which is a trickle. It's just a trickle.
Yeah.
So it takes forever to fill it. They finally fill it after waiting all day, after walking 6 or 7 hours to get there, and they're on the way home. Mm-hmm. On the way home, she stumbles and breaks doesn't just spill the water. She breaks the pot, which is a huge deal because now not only does her family not have water for the day, it means nobody gets a drink, nobody's cooking, nobody's they don't bathe much, but nothing. There's nothing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But worse, now they got no clay pot.
Yeah.
They can't afford another clay pot. And so the way she dealt with that was she took the leather strap from the clay pot and she went and found a tree and she put the strap around her neck and tied it to the tree and she hung herself. Because that's how big of a deal fresh water was to that village. So were you more affected when I told you millions of people still are affected by nasty water and die, or were you more affected by the story of that girl? The story.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that we neglect is how powerful our stories are.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, we can hit a lost generation with all the stats that we want, and that's important. That validates
Right,
what
yeah.
we're. I mean, numbers are important. There's a book in the Bible called Numbers. That's how important numbers are. I mean, numbers are important, but man, it's our stories. And that little girl's story. Just so you know, because of that little girl's story, her village got a well and a pump, and it's been pumping water ever since, man. And they honor her every year in a parade through that village, so that her death wasn't in vain. And it's ended up being a beautiful thing. But that's again how rich we are, and we just don't realize it. And so I think story is a huge part of our faith, and again, do y'all struggle with that? Do y'all struggle telling your story? I mean, that's okay if you do. I mean, listen, I still do, and I'm an old dude sometimes. So, does it depend on who you're telling your story to?
Yes.
So now we're.
I feel like it also kind of depends like on your age and like where you're, because like I'm kind of getting to the point where like I kind of don't, like I just don't really care, because I know regardless like it's gonna impact you in some way, and that's all that really matters to me is like if it impacts you. I don't care if some people consider it like a bad testimony. Or, like, if it makes me seem like a bad person, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That does make sense.
Yeah.
I
Because,
can
like,
see that.
if my testimony makes me seem like a bad person, then that just makes it a good testimony. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you hadn't killed anybody.
Well, no.
Yeah, sad. I think we forget, man, that the Apostle Paul was the Osama bin Laden of his day. Mm-hmm. That's who he was.
Right.
Osama bin Laden didn't fly no planes in the buildings. He orchestrated it. Paul wasn't the one that did the deeds, but he orchestrated. Right. When the first martyr was who? Stephen. Mm-hmm. And you know what Paul was doing? He was holding the coats of everybody that was stoning Stephen to death. He ain't getting his hands dirty, but he's doing it.
But he's, yeah.
I mean, and so to your point, and to all your points, that Paul went from being a Pharisee among Pharisees. He had everything that a culture could heave on somebody. Every accolade. We think he probably spoke 8 or 9 languages. The dude was brilliant, had everything he wanted, and turning to Christ cost him all of that. And the importance of what you guys do here on Wednesday nights. Also, I think we lose this, that Paul goes away for a while to figure out what he believes about Jesus and how he believes it. So before he starts his missionary stuff, man, he's gone away for a long time.
Right.
And gotten all that stuff straight so that his story matters.
Right.
So, and he didn't hesitate. Paul never hesitated.
Right.
That, hey, man, I was a Jew among Jews, a Pharisee among Pharisees.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one chasing people down like they're chasing me now. I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I think it's beautiful when people have the courage to go.
Yeah.
Man, this is where I was at, and it was dark, and I was broken, and it almost killed me. But man, let me tell you about now.
I feel like a lot of the times we just get so, like, again, like, I feel like it also just depends on your age. Like, I know if I was in middle school, I would have never said, like, my testimony. I would have been like, no, everyone's going to think I'm a horrible person. Everyone's going to think that I don't believe in God or love him. Like, I would have never, ever. But, like, you know, being a junior in high school now, I would literally just get up in church and just talk about my life. And because, like, I know even if it's similar to some, like, if it, like, not similar to other people's testimony, but, you know, similar in some ways, it's different to some people to where it could impact their lives. You know what I mean? So I've just learned, like, my mom has just taught me that even though that your testimony may have put you through a lot, it could also help people from putting them through a lot.
Yeah, so. Man. Oh gosh, that's great. Yeah. You head people off.
Yeah.
You know, there's 2 ways that you can learn. You can either go and mess everything up yourself.
Yeah.
Or you can heed the advice of people that's messed stuff up.
Yeah.
And so if we can share our stories and go, hey, listen, just so you know, this is how I crashed my life into these rocks. Yeah. I'd like for you not to crash your life into some rocks.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do that.
That's what I was telling.
How dare you!
Oh, God!
Bye, Aven.
Quitter.
That's
sorry, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Especially when I'm wearing headphones.
The headphones. It's like you can hear like.
I'm sorry.
Look, put the headphones on. Look, you can literally hear like.
Wait, I'm gonna reenact what you did. She walked out and you were like, "How dare you!"
That was loud.
You can like hear.
That was loud. I apologize.
That scared me. I was like,
but
dare you.
So I go to a therapist, right? Yeah. And I've been before. I went whenever like my cousin died, and I was like, "What is this? Why am I here? I don't like this." Well, then I just told my mom recently. I was like, "Hey, I just kind of want to go. Just try it out again, whatever." And growing up, I mean, I like to say I like to get advice from people, but you know, at the end of the day, no matter what advice you give to people, they're gonna do whatever they want to do. You know,
that's right. Yeah.
So no matter what you say to someone, they're just gonna do whatever. And I never realized like how important it is to take advice from someone until Lindsay told me how much she was like, she told me, she was like, she said, she was like, I don't pour into people's cup often. And she was like, I keep pouring into your cup and you're not listening to the mistakes that I've made. And I'm trying to stop you from making those same mistakes. And she was like, and you keep pouring that cup out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally started tearing up. I was like, oh my gosh. And at that point, I just felt so guilty. I was like, I'm having all these people pour into my cup and I just keep pouring the cup out. And it's just, I don't think we realize like how important it is to take other people's advice and listen to other people's testimonies and listen to the mistakes that they've made, because like at the end of the day, we can do whatever we want to do, but it's like we stop ourselves from making those mistakes. Like it's literally us. Like we stop ourselves. No one else stops us. It's us.
Right. Yeah. How just and if this is none of my business, just say you're a ridiculously handsome dude. This is none of your business. See, my wife thought that was funny on our first date. She doesn't think it's funny anymore. But anyway, how old were you when you lost your cousin?
I was. It was 2021. I'm turning 17 this year. 16, 21, 14, 13.
Okay,
I was 13 turning 14.
So I lost two of my cousins within a year, maybe a year and 2 months of each other. So yeah, that's a tough gig, man.
Yeah, and she was like a sister to me, because I mean, like I have an older brother, and then I have Alex, and then Annabelle, and then it's me. So I don't have an older sister.
Yeah,
and so she like lived with us at some point, and she was like my older sister. And so then it was like whenever I lost her, I was like, guys. What am I supposed to do? Where's the prank? What's going on?
Yeah.
And where are the cameras at? And I literally like, and at that point, like I think I said this on the podcast like last week. I was like, if I wouldn't have lost her, I would not be where I am right now. I wouldn't have the relationship that I have with God today. I wouldn't know the people I know today. I met one of the most important people ever on that day. I was singing for the church services because it was Easter. She passed away on Easter. So I was singing for those two services and then had to go back for the third service. And Mom didn't want me to go back for the third service, but I was like, I just want to go. Like, I just feel like I just need to go. So I went, and I met a friend of a friend, and so I went, and whenever I met that person, like that, they were like one of the most important people I've ever met. So, and they helped me through a lot. They helped me through that whole situation, and so like a lot has happened through that death, and that. Honestly, I'm not glad that it happened. No. But like in some ways, it's like. Obviously, it was meant to happen, and I believe that there's good in everything, and I believe that good comes out of anything that ever happens, and so, how
did that affect your view on death?
I had lost, which was her uncle. So she was adopted by her uncle, so it was my uncle, but her dad, and so we had lost him like 2 years before her. So he was like the first person I had really ever lost, but I was like younger. I was like 10 or so. Yeah. So whenever we lost him, that was like the first death I really experienced, but I wasn't really like, I don't know, it wasn't really impactful for me. So with her, it was more like, I don't know, I just realized like it was so unexpected too. And my uncle's wasn't as unexpected because he had already been in the hospital. So with her, it was like, so guys, I could actually die right now, and I could actually die tomorrow, and this person could die in 10 seconds. Like, it was crazy. I have never once left the house without saying I love you. I've never once, like, it was just the little things like that. It was,
you realized your mortality at that point.
Yeah, at that point, I realized that, like, life is just really, really short, and literally anything could happen. At that point, I realized that... that life is way too short for me to care about anything and for me to dwell in anything that just consumes me, and for me to, not have a good relationship with God. And that was whenever I was whenever I met that person that night, which is now just a really good friend of mine, and I just started to genuinely seek God and have a relationship with Him. So, yeah, overall, like, that whole experience just really, it was like just a crazy outlook on death.
Yeah. So I had a stretch. We done? We need to stop.
What'd you say? Okay, we can stop or give us 5, and then we'll be good.
So I went through a stretch similar. So I was 13. Same deal. I had 2 younger sisters. So all my cousins were my brothers. That's how that worked. And so Tim was just a few weeks away from graduating high school. Fell asleep behind the wheel of a car. Went over this ravine, and anyway, broke his neck, killed him instantly. His buddy that was with him wasn't even wearing a seatbelt. Tim was wearing a seatbelt. He doesn't die. It's one of those weird deals, man. So a year later, probably the guy that would be what you're talking about, Will, was my age, grew up together. I was 13. Was riding a 4-wheeler, flipped it, and severed his liver. He bled out. And so, but then after that, it was like the kid I grew up with, man, I've been friends with him forever. I was at a party, walked in, girlfriend broke up with him. This is how temporary stuff is when you're y'all's age, that it feels like it's just the world's ending. Girl broke up with him. He goes in the party, tries to make up and say, man, if you don't get back with me, I'm going to kill myself. Whatever. And then he pulled out a gun and killed himself right in front of everybody. Just over and over and over and over. I do mission work still in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Girl that I got to be really, really good friends with, Tracy Alamon. She was a few weeks away from graduating, and a water spout. You ever been to the beach and seen a water spout? Basically, it's a tornado out in the water. It's cool when it's out in the water. It's not cool when they run up on land. Yeah. And so they were about to get out of school, and no warning, no nothing. It just ran up on the island. It's really a reef. It's really not even an island. It's barrier reef. Hits the school, and lockers fall on Tracy, kills her. So it's just stuff like that, and because of that, I don't get freaked out by death the way that a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people wonder, like, what's wrong with me? Yeah. Like, everybody else is falling apart, and I'm going.
It's just like it's part of it. It's just a common thing for you.
Yes, it's just I don't see it as a period where things stop. I see it as a comma. Yeah. Where we take a breath and we just keep on going. Right. So particularly for people that say that they believe in Jesus, I'll mourn people that are lost. Right. That'll break my heart. But the people that know Christ, we're not. Scripture is real clear that we are not supposed to mourn as people who have no hope. Doesn't mean we're not supposed to mourn. Right. Man, you should absolutely mourn. But man, you should also do that in such a way that at some point people are looking around going, that dude's handling that a little differently than what I'm handling that. Maybe she's handling that a little differently. And that doesn't, by the way, you don't seek advice. You don't go to therapy. You don't seek counseling. Yeah. I think God uses all that stuff to help us get through it. Yeah. But ultimately, you still come out on the other end going, I'm not, to not be here is to be there. Right. Like, to be absent from here is to be present with Him. And I think we forget that when Jesus left here, He said He was going there to prepare a place for us. So wrap your mind around that. That means Jesus has been preparing a place for you and 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 me for like 2,000 years. And if He's been preparing a place for us for 2,000 years, and I look around and see all the beauty that's here, the ocean sunsets and my mountain, vistas, and I see all the beauty. You take all that beauty and wrap it all up and combine it all together, and it's still living in a garbage can compared to what we got waiting on us there. And so I'll just end by saying this. I think one of the lessons in the Philippines, I don't get homesick. You get homesick? Y'all get homesick when you travel?
Yeah.
I don't do homesick.
So it just depends, honestly.
I get people sick. I miss my friends and family. But like homesick, I don't do that very well.
Not really.
But I've been gone for about 3 weeks with my wife. My youngest daughter just been born. So in the middle of Mindanao, there was a Dunkin' Donuts. Only American thing there. And I'd gotten courageous after a few weeks, and I figured out how to ask for to get a ride to the jeepney, the Dunkin' Donuts. Because, you all right? You all right?
Sayla almost fell.
Man, I hope that that did not get caught either, is there?
No,
Just,
there's
for everybody that can't see, she's wedged between the wall and the floor. So that's fantastic. Are you all right?
Yeah.
What were you drinking in that bottle before you came here, girl?
What bottle?
Exactly.
She doesn't even remember.
Exactly. CR meets on Sunday nights. That's all I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Are you talking about the red cup?
Yes. Let's go with the red cup.
I swear.
It looks like it is.
It was Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it was Dr. Pepper.
And
Dr. Pepper with a mix of blood.
So I went to Dunkin' Donuts for one reason, because in Dunkin' Donuts they had CNN playing, and they had American TV shows playing, and they had American music playing, and even though I knew I was still in the Philippines, for a brief moment, it felt like I was home. And I think sometimes our anxiety and our depression and our sadness, I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, it's because we just forget that this world is not our home. And we just homesick. We just homesick.
Right.
And moments like you guys have on Wednesday nights, gatherings on Sunday mornings, the times that you guys are praying together and just doing life together, man, the reason those times feel so good is because you're getting what I got at Dunkin' Donuts. You're getting a little taste of home.
Yeah.
How good it's going to be.
Right.
And so anyway, that's all I got. That's all I know.
You saying that, like, that just makes me think, because I know I say it on here a lot of the times, is like, a lot of times it's good for you to, like, feel your emotions, but to not dwell in it. So
no, that's great advice.
Because obviously, like, with me, I'm a very, like, sensitive and emotional person, and, like, I literally, like, I take medication for my anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I thought someone was calling. What? Oh, okay. So anyways, so that's always my advice, is like, it's good to feel your emotions, like, just feel them, in the moment, whatever. Don't dwell in it. And so you saying, like, he's literally been preparing a place for us for, like, over 2,000 years. So why does it matter what someone said about you, like, last period?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why
It doesn't.
Like, it doesn't. And
Yeah.
but we think it does because that's, like, what we're so used to being around. Like, that's just how we live down here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great perspective. Here's what I'll be willing to bet. You'll go to your 10-year class reunions, and the things that just you were so, like, you're going to look back and go, you're not even going to remember it. The person that said something about you, somebody posted something, you get invited to the party that everybody else was, whatever it is, man, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But we make it matter.
Yeah.
We
make it matter
get all up in
because
our
we want.
feelings. And yeah.
Which, I mean, like, sometimes, I mean, like, that's just, I mean, honestly, that's just life. It's
it is.
And, like, it's not.
Never changes.
And it's not bad for you to, I mean, like, it's normal for you to get mad if someone talks about you,
Absolutely.
and, like, that's okay. I still do that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit here and be like, okay, guys.
But I love but you don't live in it.
Don't dwell in it.
Yeah.
You just feel your emotions, and, because you don't want to let your emotions consume you to the point where you just, like, explode, right? So you just need to feel them, but don't dwell in them. So it's okay for you to feel mad whenever someone talks bad about you, because that's just people, and you're just gonna feel that way. Because I'm gonna sit here and say that, but I'll probably still get mad if someone gets on my nerves tomorrow,
But I love that you feel how you feel.
Yeah.
That's you can't control that.
Right.
But you can control after you feel how you feel.
Right.
How you react to it after that, from that
Right.
point forward. So
You can control.
that is great advice.
Right.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
All right, so let me wrap up this podcast. So
Who started that?
thank you, Ragsdale, so much. No, I did not start that.
started it?
I think it was. I think it was Anna.
On the podcast you did.
No, I mean in general. the poet readings and the coffee shops.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, Ragsdale, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, guys, if you guys do not have a church to attend, we have Sunday services 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. If you don't have a youth group to attend, we have Lifepoint here. Has food at 5:30 and then service at 6. We are doing a Squid Games. Just go to our Instagram or our Facebook, lp.youth, and then you're watching this on our YouTube, Discover Lifepoint. Follow all of our social medias, turn on that notification bell and etc. All those good things, guys. All right. We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Boom, boom. Dab, 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 dab. Boom, boom.
So are you in charge?